The fun is in better audio quality.
Hello!
Hello! Thank you once again for joining us.
We took an intermission.
Episode 43.5.
No, you stop that. It's the same episode. You stop that.
And 1.5.
Ignore him. Alright. What happened was apparently the memory card on the camcorder got full because I hadn't deleted like any of the last 4 videos.
Capturing all this just takes up way too much space.
It is in 4K. So, so I started noticing the light.
You need at least
on there, and it wasn't solid. It was blinking slowly, and then it started blinking quickly, and I'm like, oh no, the battery's dying. But that wasn't the case. The memory card was full.
Technical errors.
Technical interruptions. Like they had during the 3rd episode of the Doctor Who serial.
Mm-hmm. Right. The Evil of the Dogs. On the rerun.
Yeah, on the rerun. So,
first ever Doctor Who rerun. Besides the first episode.
The first episode was, yeah. Alright, so going back a little bit, because we don't know when it stops recording. So this will be one of the very few thus far edited Doctor Who's.
The only?
Well, yeah.
First ever.
It won't be edited to take anything out, but just to splice the 2 parts together, because this will be a different file. Okay, we'll cleave it together. Alright.
Unless a man shall cleave to his wife.
Mm-hmm. Cleave is the only word in the English language that can mean its exact opposite.
Yeah, I always thought of cleave as in plain.
But you can cleave things together.
People don't really use that context of the word anymore.
Not very much. They mostly use it for cleavage.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, that's together.
Hopefully.
And the part.
Yeah. Alright.
That's both senses of the word.
Okay, so, going back a little bit. So the doctor wakes up. He gets asked questions by the lady doctor.
Yes.
The medical doctor, Gemma.
It's a weird name.
Well, futuristic name, like Zoe. So then they hear the scream. They go and rescue, or they go and they find the guy and he's dead. The Cybermats killed him, and
he sprayed one over with the plastic.
Right, sprayed one over with the plastic, like just the same plastic stuff that Jamie used to destroy the laser's functionality.
Flex seal in a can.
Yeah.
I sawed the Cyberman in half. Flex sealed it back together. Have you seen those commercials?
The boat, yeah. Alright, so the doctor, they pull up the tile that the Cybermat's under. Zoe had them do this, and she takes it to the doctor. Okay, next time that ever starts blinking again, let me know. Alright.
You noticed it before I did?
Yeah, I noticed it.
I had the beep.
I noticed it blinking slowly, and then I'm like,
oh, that must have been low storage.
Yeah, and then I noticed it blinking quickly, and I'm like, oh crap. So the doctor, and they X-ray it, and it turns out it's a Cybermat. And the doctor's like, oh no, the Cybermen are here. They're going to try and take over the base. They're going to maybe take over the people, or at least try to destroy it. And so
we were talking about how on the ship, on the first episode, the doctor realized that there's a menace, there's a threat, and that he had to pray.
And then he got knocked out and lost the memory.
He was trying to get to the TARDIS. He got knocked out, concussion, forgot. How did he realize that there was danger in the first place? Did he open the door and see the
It's a
Cybermen
reconstruction.
eggs?
It's a reconstruction. We don't have as much knowledge on that.
Also, why is the robot evil? Why was he trying to...
He was probably ordered to protect the ship and protect the mission.
You think the Cybermen mind warped a robot?
Yeah, in this one the Cybermen have hypno control. Hypno-toad.
Did they not do that in the last one?
I don't think so.
There's so many protagonists that hypnotize people, I lose track.
The Doctor.
The Daleks have done it. The Web of Evil. Just about every other one has hypnotized somebody.
Pardon me. The Doctor's arch nemesis, the Master, is big on hypnotizing people. And we'll see that soon.
Have we seen the last of the Great Intelligence?
No.
Cool.
He shows up again.
He hypnotizes people.
In about hold on. In about 47 years.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well,
I was expecting it a little sooner than
1968, and he shows up again during Matt Smith. About 44 years from then.
Huh. I was like, they didn't wrap him up. They didn't defeat him. He got away. I'm sure they're gonna tie up that loose end in 44 years.
In 44 years. It's one of the nice things about Doctor Who. It has such a rich background with so many stories.
They can just go through the catalog and be like, oh, let's do this one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, I saw this one with Yeti. Let's revisit that. They do the same thing with the Zygons. You haven't seen the Zygons yet. We'll eventually see the Zygons, and they'll show up in a couple of serials.
Cool.
And then they won't show up for 30-something years.
Cool. It'll make me extra excited when we get to see them again.
Yeah, they're there for some of Tom Baker, like season 13 and 14 or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's Tom Baker. It might be Pertwee actually, but then they don't show up again until the 50th anniversary special, 38 years later or something. 34 or something like that.
I'm excited for those specials.
All right. Okay. So, the Doctor realizes there are Cybermen trying to get on the ship, and the Cybermats had drained all the beryllium, and that's the main fuel rods they use for the laser to shoot the things out of the sky. And so, we're defenseless, let's try and re-put it together, and while we're at it, let's see if we can find any more beryllium. So, just in case there's anything else on the rocket ship, or anyone else, the guy who's in control, what's his name? Jarvis. He sends a couple people. Jarvis. He sends a couple people over the rocket ship, which I'm very surprised he did.
They finally talked him into investigating it before he blows it up.
Right, plot hooks, yeah. So he has a couple guys go over there, and they run into the Cybermen, who broke out their eggs. The Cybermen hypnotize them, Hypnotoad, and then they have to follow what the Cybermen tell them to do.
With Sarah, when I proposed to her.
Oh.
Say yes.
Say yes. Shit. All right. So they have a big crate that the Cybermen get into, and then they put a false bottom into it, and on top of the false bottom they put beryllium.
Now, where did the Cybermen get their smuggler's crate?
They had it made.
They had it made?
Or they made it, whatever.
They're very industrious.
Okay, yeah, they're Cybermen. So, the whole point of the Cybermats eating the beryllium was not to necessarily take out the laser, because they later on want the laser functioning, but it was to allow this unknown quantity, the crate, onto the ship, because the two guys said it had beryllium in it that they found on the rocket ship. So they, under hypnosis and are now cyber guys, take the crate over to the wheel, and the Cybermen are like, cool, and they get out of the crate, and they start to do things on the wheel now that they're there. And that was a whole plan to Trojan horse in.
Yes.
So then the Doctor figures out, he says, wait a minute, they found what over there? Oh, beryllium, and they brought it over. And he realizes that's exactly what it is. It's a Trojan horse, and that the Cybermen are in it. And so he freaks out, and he asks them to start monitoring the brain patterns of everybody on the wheel, because apparently it's something they can do, and they know about hypnotism.
I missed that part.
Okay.
I just saw the part where he told them to slap the thing on the back there.
Well, that way, they apparently take low-level drugs to prevent the hypnotism, but they're not familiar with the Cybermen. They didn't know about this type of hypnotism, so that's when the Doctor tells them to make these little things with a piece of metal on the back of their neck. So they start working on those.
Who takes the drugs to prevent
All the spacemen.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently there's some low-level drugs in the water or something.
Huh.
So they start putting the little metal things in the back of everybody's necks. In the meantime, they're still working on the laser like crazy. Jarvis is gone completely catatonic. And Gemma is now basically in control of everything because she's number 2.
Yes. Number
2. Alright, so...
Is there some sort of plot point we missed about why Jarvis has gone crazy? Does that have to do with the drugs in the water?
No, it has to deal with the fact that he's gone a little space crazy. Space dementia. Yeah. And he has been under a lot of strain for a long time, so he slowly but surely works into his own head and retreats there because he can't handle what's going on the outside. And I've seen people do that, you know, I mean, drugs don't help the situation. At least not most drugs. Okay, but he just basically had a complete mental breakdown. Alright, so they realized at that moment that somebody actually on the bridge had their thoughts being controlled by the Cybermen.
Yes.
Turns out to be the engineer guy who first found the Cybermats. The Cybermen said they were going to fix the machine, and they sent him to the bridge, and he runs up and stabs a metal rod into their radio communication device.
Which electrocutes
him
to death.
Second death. He's fried.
Second?
Okay, so earlier in the episode, the doctor took an x-ray of...
Third death.
Okay, the lady doctor took an x-ray of the doctor's chest, and she didn't mention the 2 hearts.
Well, it was kind of
it's not
head.
No, it was his chest too. She said, you know, but
she said extraordinary x-ray, and then the doctor repeated extraordinary x-ray like he was concerned.
Yeah, but I mean, it was of his chest too. Remember, she'd been listening to his chest with a stethoscope, and she did not mention the 2 hearts.
He puts up this facade of he's a regular person. He doesn't tell people his real name.
Right, but
was he also concerned that she's going to find out?
Well, the 2 hearts thing isn't canonized until later, much like the sonic screwdriver and whatnot.
But he's an alien species.
Yep, and that is...
Or is he? Is he not yet classified as an alien?
He is, and that's canonized later. Well, that is absolutely canonized with his regeneration, because humans don't do that.
Right.
But they haven't yet mentioned, I don't think, the name of his people, which comes up later, the Time Lords. I can't remember if Gallifrey's been mentioned yet. I think
once.
Gallifrey, I think, was mentioned, but not the name of his people, the Time Lords. So all this, so much of this gets canonized during the second Doctor.
Is that a pretentious name for a species?
Time
Lords?
Not if you control time.
That's like us calling ourselves Earth Lords.
We're Earthlings, but I mean, we are basically lords of the earth.
They should be Timelings.
Timelings? No, that doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, I know, it's less pretentious.
Well, you could say Gallifreyans, but to be fair, it's believed there's some people who live on Gallifrey who are not Time Lords.
The Time Lords are from Gallifrey?
Yes. And there are some Time Lords later on, you find out they go into the wild to live outside the big city and stuff. And there are some people who live on Gallifrey who are not Time Lords because the Doctor eventually leaves a companion on Gallifrey.
So, and then he gets blown up. That companion gets blown up.
She probably died long before the Gallifrey gets blown up.
So, if Superman's from Krypton...
Right, he's a Kryptonian.
He's a Kryptonian. Why is his weakness kryptonite?
Don't know.
Because on Krypton, he's just a regular person until he draws his power from Earth's sun for some reason. Why does a shard from his home planet?
I'm guessing because it makes him a regular person.
But it also like eventually kills him, right? It doesn't just weaken him to.
I have no idea.
Superheroes are weird.
Yeah.
Have you noticed the? You see Zombieland 2?
The what?
Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, it's alright.
Zombieland Double Tap.
Yeah.
I liked it. Not as good as the first one, maybe. First one was pretty good.
No, but it was good.
It was good.
Mm.
You were saying?
I'm good. Back to the plot. Okay, so the radio's out. They're still trying to get the laser online. The meteors are coming in. The Cybermen are in the base, and the commander is just at this point completely comatose. So they're trying to do their best, and Zoe's also having a personal crisis with emotions and stuff. And, I want to feel, and what good for me is logic and all this other stuff. And it's like, really, you got to do this now? But okay, it's personal growth for a character. So the Doctor eventually figures out where the Cybermen are, because the Lady Doctor had gone down to the bay to try and find them, and she gets killed by them. Mm-hmm. After she finds out they're going to poison the air supply. So the operation, and she warns the Doctor and everybody. She gives her life for that, and it's like our 4th or 5th death. There was another guy, Chang.
Chang was a British man playing a Chinese character with a horrible Chinese accent.
It was pretty bad.
Who died immediately.
Pretty close, yeah.
He was a red shirt Star Trekian for...
Well, like I said, Star Trek had started by this point, and so you have this international station where you've got like the Russian lady.
Yeah.
Who kind of had the thing for the third in command,
Leo.
Yeah, and you had a Chinese guy, and you had a Spanish guy, the Escobar guy. And, he dies too. But you got and you've got your British guy and all that. And there's one guy who's trying to sound American, So you got all this international space station things. Like I said, Star Trek had started by now. So the Lady Doctor dies.
What happens when we finish Doctor Who? Are we going to start a Star Trek podcast?
No. Star Trek sucks.
We'll just be done.
I mean, I love the original series. I love the Next Generation. Everything after that's really bad. It sort of went the way of Doctor Who much earlier with Voyager. Voyager is really bad. And the modern stuff is even worse.
The movies they just came out with?
The movies were pretty good until Jar Jar Abrams got a hold of them.
Did you hear the Picard's coming back?
The show's already out, and it's stupidly political. They're going all woke like everything else.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so enough of that. Ugh. So anyway, the Doctor figures out that there's a trap going on, because he sends Jamie and Zoe back to the spaceship to get the golden rod.
Yes.
So they're actually out there when the meteor storm's hitting, and they're trying to shoot the laser to hit the meteors before it hits Jamie and Zoe.
It's a really cool scene.
Yeah, which gets really tricky.
Fire. And then Zoe and Jamie are out in space. Just
and they're out in space.
Pelted with debris.
You can sometimes see the strings. It's great. Old TV. So they, and the Doctor's like, well, I had to send them because we need this rod. And you don't know why he needs the rod. And the third in command is like, well, is it worth risking their lives? And he's like, to save the lives of everyone? Yes.
So this, once again, sets up the Doctor as, sacrifice the few to save the many type of character who's willing to sacrifice his own companion to save, a handful of people he's never met before. But there's more. Nonetheless.
Well, the whole thing of people willing to risk their lives for the Doctor because they want to impress them is greatly explored and examined during Matt Smith's years. The one with the big sonic screwdriver right there. Yep. During the 11th Doctor, they spend a lot of time exploring that with a couple of his companions.
These people are precious to me.
Yes.
He says that.
Yep.
Also, there's a great quote from the Doctor in this serial who says something about logic.
Oh, yeah.
Logic only serves to let people be wrong with authority or something?
Yeah.
Is that what
Logic. The only thing logic is good for is to let you be wrong with authority.
What do you think of that?
It's kind of a great quote, but I suspect it's from somewhere else. It sounds so good that it sounds like he's quoting Plato or Aristotle or somebody, you know?
Like people who can put the guise of their opinion is more than just their opinion. It's just logical.
To them it's logical, but it's wrong.
It puts authority behind their, they say, this is just objectively right. It's not just my opinion, it's logic.
Right.
It's logical.
Alright, so...
We evolved over millions and billions of years.
Yeah, right. Logic. So Jamie and Zoe manage to actually get to the rocket ship. They turn on the communication device because Zoe knows about all this stuff. Jamie doesn't. And she accidentally clicks into the Cybermen channel. Their frequency on which they're broadcasting between the fleet and the Cybermen on the wheel. Mm-hmm. So they figured out, well, wait a second, they figured out that somebody on the wheel knows their methods because they put a force field around the operations center and they went to emergency oxygen so they can't be poisoned. But they only figured that out because the female doctor overheard those plans from the Cybermen in the loading dock.
She gave her life to warn
the doctor and everybody.
The few over the many.
Right.
During this scene, there's a great callback to an earlier episode in the serial where Gemma, who just recently died, sacrificed herself to warn them about the oxygen. Gemma was questioning Jamie when they first met about the doctor and his name. And Jamie doesn't know the doctor's name. Mm-hmm. He makes up a name to conform to the system because he must have a name for the system. In the same way, the Daleks are talking to one of the crew members that they've hypnotized, and they're going over, well, who is a threat? Who knows Earth? and he's naming every single crew member, and he comes to the doctor. Yeah, as he names the crew members, they're like, negative, not a threat, negative, negative. And then the doctor, they're like, what's his name? He's like, I don't know their name. I don't know his name. They're like, he must have a name. What is his name?
But they eventually identify him as the doctor, and they go, well, oh crap, that's our enemy. Yeah. So,
but it's a callback to the system and how he must have a name, but he doesn't have a name, and how that throws everything off, and how the Cybermen are like these human cyborgs. They're completely removed from their humanity. As they're hardly human. They suppress every single emotion and their dopamine chemical in their brains, what little biology they have left. I saw a short snippet video of a much later serial of where the Cybermen meet the Daleks for the first time, and the Cybermen say, identify yourselves. And then the Daleks say, the Daleks do not identify first. And the Cybermen say, you have identified as Daleks.
Okay, you're not supposed to be watching that stuff.
I didn't want... But I just saw that as like a meme. It's really fun.
It is a funny meme.
There's a picture and I sent it to you.
But that's towards the end of series 2.
They talk in the third person, which I thought was funny. So it's all interconnected, and I thought that was neat how they're like, what's his name? And he's like, I don't know that one's name. And John Smith
You occasionally find out, you eventually find out that he's called a name by somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that's his name. It's like, his old class buddy, and that was his college fraternity nickname. Theta Gamma or something. Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was a very fraternity-esque nickname.
What's your fraternity nickname?
I never joined a fraternity.
Beta male.
But your fraternity name was Beta male? Not surprised. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so the Doctor.
How come Omega is the last letter, not Zeta?
Well, the Greeks didn't have as many letters as we do.
But there's Z's before the O.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I got mixed up.
I don't know. Alright,
Their alphabet soups in different, organized differently.
Yeah, well, ours is based off of theirs, but it's not exactly theirs.
If I were to reorganize it, I put you and I together.
That's bad. Okay. Alright, so the Cybermen set a trap for the Doctor.
Did he?
But the Doctor's a step ahead of them. He warns the guys in the control room about the hypnotized guy who is under their influence, who is luring him into the trap, to subdue him and put the metal in the back of his neck to remove the Cyberman's influence. And he goes to the laser with the golden rod and tries to set it up to be supercharged so it can hopefully blow up the fleet. In the meantime, they have managed to shoot out most of the meteorites when Jamie and Zoe were going to the other place, and they deflected the smaller ones with the gravity shield, the magnet shield. So now they just have to worry about the Cybermen and the fleet, because he believes the Cybermen are going to convert all the people in the base to Cybermen and utilize the base somehow to invade Earth. That part is never fully explained.
So the Cybermen are reoccurringly trying to invade Earth for the treasures of Earth.
Right.
And explain that.
That goes back to
the
the
first one, where
Mondas.
Their twin planet was losing. The Cybermen just continue to be obliterated, but they keep coming back because the Doctor exploded their planet.
Well, same for the
killed their
Daleks.
hibernation.
Hey.
But it never really explains what the treasures of Earth is.
Well, the minerals, the
humans.
The humans
Because they
that
can't
make 7 billion Cybermen, yeah.
procreate anymore.
Correct. They have to convert humans into Cybermen. It's like you will be
So their
upgraded, you
numbers
will be
are
converted.
Finite.
Right.
They're like the undead.
But they've always wanted Earth's resources, which is in the original serial, while they were because they were the opposite planet of Earth in the solar system, Mondas.
That's a plot point in the World of Warcraft with the Forsaken, the undead, because their numbers are finite. So in later expansions like Cataclysm, it talks about how they need to recruit more.
By killing them, yeah.
Because they just run out. They don't have enough corpses.
True. Okay, so the Doctor lays a trap for the Cybermen. He, like I say, he's one step ahead of them, and he's in the room with the laser thing. And Cybermen come in to kill him. He gets them to admit some of the bad guy admitting his plans, and then he fries them.
You got me dialoguing, you slide out.
Yeah, and then he fries them.
He's like, I guess you'll have to come on in.
Yeah. And turns on the switch. And then the Doctor gets the golden rod, puts it into the deal, and they blow the Cybermen's giant spaceship out of the sky.
Bluey.
Kaboom.
This, time vector generator is really just the catch-all, be-all plot point of this.
That's a bit of a MacGuffin, yeah.
MacGuffin.
Yeah. So...
MacGuffin. I always thought of a MacGuffin as like the Lord of the Rings. The ring, it's not so much. It just moves the plot forward. But I thought there's a different word for, like a cop out of explaining away the plot.
What's a MacGuffin? I think.
Also
there's Deus Ex Machina, God on the machine.
That might be it.
Yeah, which you come in and you save them with some hand or act of God. Which is kind of like the eagles at the end of the Lord of the Rings coming in and picking up Frodo and Bilbo.
So the ring would be the MacGuffins, and the eagles would be the Deus Ex.
No, the ring was much more of a thing of power. I believe MacGuffin is much more of a like we need this because we need this and we don't know why. Like the stupid suitcase in that horrible movie, was it Pulp Fiction or what was in the suitcase? Nobody knew what was in the suitcase. Nobody wanted the suitcase. Or was that Reservoir Dogs?
Might have been
Reservoir Dogs.
I didn't watch that.
They open the suitcase. There's a glowing light on the suitcase. Everyone wants it. Nobody knows. You never find out what's in the stupid ass suitcase.
I thought it was just money.
You don't know. Well, it's glowing with a bright light.
Oh, gold?
Maybe, but it doesn't glow with a bright light usually.
They made an Easter egg in Grand Theft Auto where it plays out the whole last scene of Reservoir Dogs. They're all dying on the hill, and then there's a suitcase and you pick it up, it's money. And then people come to kill you later. I love Easter eggs in video games.
Okay, so the base is saved. They start reporting back to Earth. Now they have the radio fixed, which is one of the things the doctor went out to get, was parts of the radio.
And he got more mercury.
And he got mercury. He found mercury in the lab. So he literally pours the mercury into the TARDIS console. Because apparently the TARDIS runs on a lot of mercury. That's one of their plot thing devices there. Let's see. So I guess they had gotten back over to the rocket with Zoe and Jamie. Mm-hmm. They got back over the rocket, went in. They don't show any of this part. He puts the golden rod back in. It turns back into the TARDIS, bringing that smaller dimension in.
Where does he put the rod in the police box for it to turn back into a TARDIS?
That's not shown, but I would suspect just inside the door. Because there's no other hardly anywhere else inside. It goes back to the TARDIS. He puts some mercury in so they can work again. And then Zoe is told goodbye by Jamie, like, stay here, we're gone, and she doesn't like it. She wants to go with him, so she tries to stow away.
As this mathematical mind, she's like, I must unravel the mysteries of what this TARDIS is. You want to explain it to me.
Right, and so the doctor and Jamie are like, well, we'll let you come with us, but you need to know what you're in for. They start showing her.
She stows away.
Right.
But the doctor sees her sneak on.
Yeah, knocks on the chest, and she gets out. And
she's in the doctor's chest where he keeps all his keepsakes.
Right. And so it's an excuse for the doctor to say, hey, look, this is what's going on. And he shows her a picture of the Daleks. And
then they re-air the...
Yeah. They re-air Evil the Daleks after that as a rerun. And supposedly it's all him showing it to her, which is really weird and silly.
I liked it.
Yeah. But anyway, so it ends. They leave with Zoe. She's now a companion. And then we move on to the next serial and the next season. Season 6. Next time will be The Dominators. Bum, bum, bum. 5 episodes. The first 2 serials of the next season are 5 episodes long. Then The Invasion, which is 8 episodes. The Crotons. The Seeds of Death. The Space Pirates, which is our last and final reconstruction. And then The War Games, which will be... Oof, that'll be rough. 10 episodes.
That's the longest. Oh, 13.
No.
13's
12. The Daleks Master Plan, 12 episodes.
And the one precursor.
Well, it's a precursor, but it's a separate serial, technically. Because we do have some precursors that serials that lead into others, much like the Yeti one that leads into the one in the underground with the Yeti. There are like only 3 serials.
Back to back, though.
Well, neither was the Mission of the Unknown.
It wasn't? I thought that
No. You had the other one in the middle of it.
Oh.
Let's see. Hold on. Okay, because you had Mythmaker, or Mission of the Unknown, then the Mythmakers.
Troy.
And then Daleks Master Plan. So, in the Mythmakers, they lost Vicky and picked up Katarina.
And then kill off Katarina.
Right. So Vicky's got a little voiceover in Mission of the Unknown, Galaxy 4 Mission of the Unknown, but she's already gone by the time we get to Daleks Master Plan. Right. So anyway, like we said, after season 6, we will be doing some cleanup. And during that, we will do the choices for the best of each of Troughton's seasons.
I think this one might be my favorite of season 4. It was very good.
It was
climatic, good. Lots of action. The best. They're really good.
We'll talk about that later, but oh man, no.
What else was
Tomb of the Cybermen.
Tomb was really good.
Enemy of the World. All right, we'll be discussing that after we finish up season 6 and we go through. Yeah. Anyway, hope you have fun, and we will see you hopefully next week. All right. Wait. What questions do you have? We almost skipped the questions. Oh, this is gonna be a stupid long video. All right.
I asked most of them
as we went along.
It's just interjecting on the. Otherwise, I just get distracted. But I have a couple left, I think.
Okay. What questions do you have left?
Why do the companions never ask for the doctor's name?
They do sometimes.
How does he answer?
He just goes, just the doctor. Just call me the doctor. Yeah.
So we finally see the doctor. Well, whenever we pick up companions, it's mostly, circumstantial. Like, come with me if you want to live. You have no life here. You're gonna die.
Or they just happen to run in the TARDIS, yeah.
They stow away on the TARDIS.
Dodo or Zoe.
But we've had it in the past where he picks up people and he's like, "Are you sure you want to come?" They're like, "Yeah, we want to come." He's like, "Okay, come." And then they have no idea that they're going on these life-risking adventures. So this is the first time where we're picking up Zoe, where we see the doctor conscientiously warn the person of, there's danger to come if you're going.
It's only because they want to re-show the evil of the Daleks.
But he's also, finally extending that courtesy of warning the person that they might die.
The weirdest part is, at the end of Zoe's first serial, we get the lady she's replacing's first serial. Evil of the Daleks is where we got Victoria.
Oh.
So, it's like, here, let me show you exactly how your predecessor came on board and under what circumstances. Yeah, it's funny.
Full circle.
What other questions do you have?
This serial was too violent for Australia.
Much too violent for Australia. There were several clips that were cut out as too violent for Australia. Although some of the stuff we thought might have been that was them making a better reconstruction out of small clips of the 2 episodes that exist.
Yeah. So whenever the Cybermen are talking to the invasion force, I'm assuming, is that just a radio they're talking to, or there's like this weird...
it's probably an Ansible.
What is that?
Okay, it's out of Speaker for the Dead, what was the name of the book before Speaker for the Dead?
Not familiar.
Okay. And that was turned into a bad movie.
Aren't they all?
Okay. But anyway, so in Speaker for the Dead, there's a device called an Ansible. And this has been theorized to work. Okay, so what you do is you somehow take an atom, okay, and you take like the electron out of the atom, or however many electrons it has or whatever. You take an electron out of the atom, and you have the proton somewhere else, okay, or another electron out of the atom somewhere else. So, in theory, if this atom vibrates, all of its subatomic particles will vibrate. So it doesn't matter how many miles or thousands of miles or light years they're apart, they will vibrate together. So you can speak into something to like a telephone to make it vibrate, and then it vibrates on the other end, however far it is away, instantaneously across half the universe or whatever. So it is literally something that's been theorized for a long time. Ender's Game, that was the prequel book, the original book, not prequel. It's been theorized for a long time, and I think they may be getting close to actually doing it. But
I thought when you separated atoms, exploded?
I think there's a way to remove the electrons and not have the atom explode. It's when you break into the proton and separate that explodes, or something. I'm not a nuclear physicist. I don't know. And but so supposedly you've got the two bits and it'll instantly communicate, and that's been a big thing in science fiction for a long time.
Do this again. There you go.
All right.
I was just wondering because the orb kind of looked like a head, like it's some weird different robotic species.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had a mastermind, Cyberman.
Yeah. And in the wheel in the background where the Cyberman was, were a whole bunch of lava lamps.
Yeah,
like a ton of them.
Future. Those didn't become as mainstream until the 70s. So in like 1968, they still were like
no, it was almost the future.
They were, like Tesla coils. Not everyone had one in their home until like mid 70s, I think. So that's why you could get away with throwing them up as sci-fi props.
I guess so. Well, it's like the bubble wrap. I told you about that monster, right?
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. In the Fourth Doctor, there's an episode, "The Ark in Space," and the monster is some sort of larvae creature, but it's a guy in a bunch of bubble wrap, spray painted green.
Yeah.
So it looks so ridiculous now, but originally, very few people knew what bubble wrap was in the 70s, right? It didn't become super duper common use, I guess, until 80s or so. So they used it, and nowadays it looks so bad. It's just a guy, kind of crawling around in bubble wrap, spray painted green. It's pretty bad.
Now, they already fired one costume designer after the Macro Terror.
Oh, yeah, for that whole company, yeah. All right.
Also, Daleks are immune to laser pistols. The Daleks also had a semi-redesign, again, a micro redesign with slightly different torso material.
Cybermen? You mean Cybermen?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said Daleks.
Did I?
Yeah, both times you just said Daleks.
Really?
I can replay it back for you, sir.
No, you'll have to, because in my head I was thinking Cybermen.
Yeah, they've got the
they have teardrops and like a tongue sticking out, which are just real.
Oh no! The tongue sticking out is much worse than the earlier stuff.
It looks like puzzle pieces.
Puzzle. But the whole eye thing with the little secondary tear ducts or whatever you want down here.
Cybermen.
On the Cybermen.
The Cybermen had a micro redesign.
Right, on the Cybermen, they keep that from now on.
I like it.
It's very distinctive.
It's better than the sock.
Oh God, yeah. The original ones, yeah. You never see them again. The sock ones, the original
Mondas
Cybermen. They're more the metal kind with the islets like we have now.
Metallic.
Until one of the very last serials of the 12th Doctor. And then you get the sock. Then you get the sock Cybermen again, and it's kind of their origin actually.
Mesh.
Yeah, it's kind of their origin.
Cool.
He goes back and kind of does an origin story because apparently that was his favorite Cyberman.
Nice. I think that about covers it.
Oh, it's good.
Next time, the Dominators.
The Dominators, and season 6 for Doctor Who. As we continue through the 26 original seasons, then the TV movie, and then the currently 12 series. Alright, cool. Thanks so much. Goodbye.
Again for joining us.
Yeah.
This is the part of the video where we play the outro music.
There is no music. Alright.
Sing the music, Heather.
Well, get music eventually.
Because we're